Okay, can you tell us your name and spell it out?
My name is Chuco Garcia, ChucoGarcia.
Awesome. And can you just give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a documentary filmmaker. I started doing documentaries and doing my editing and stuff like that around the same time, uh, right after high school. Uh, really went to school. I never went to school for it. I just kind of picked it up for necessity of just wanting to document things outside of in my neighborhood and stuff like that. So yeah, I graduated from high school, started doing some documentary films here and there, short things for like Sanato Cultural Arts and Forza Unidas and organizations like that. And then it wasn't until later that I started picking up, bigger stories and just trying to document stuff that's relevant to our raza. You know what I mean?
Where did you go to high school?
I went to McCollum High School.
Oh, okay. And when did you graduate?
'09.
Oh, nine.
Graduated in '09.
So you're younger. How old are you?
Right. I'm 30.
30. So we're doing these interviews about the Westside Sound. So I'm gonna ask you a list of questions, and you can just feel free to answer them. Or if you don't feel like answering one, you can skip to the next one, and we'll just go through them one by one. How would you describe the Westside Sound?
The Westside Sound, man. I would describe the Westside Sound as
No, you're good. Go ahead.
okay. I would describe the Westside Sound as, I always say it's like corazon, man. Like it's real barrio, bro. It's real. Has the horns, has all the instruments from people that were, doing music in that era. And to me, the Westside Sound is our history, our music history, here in San Antonio. And it just captures all of our culture, the vibes in the barrio, and everything all together. It's just the Chicano culture here in San Antonio and Westside, and it goes beyond Westside too. But it just depends what music you want to categorize it as.
Are there like some key songs or musicians or instruments that make you think specifically of Westside Sound?
Well, definitely the first name that pops up in my head is the World Jesters. They had Henry Hernandez, they had Oscar Lawson and Luis Escalante fronting the band, and their voice, man, just captures the essence of the West Side. You got the horns playing in the background, you got the band playing in the background. It just captures everything from what they're trying to get across in their music. But the World Jesters is a key element here in the West Side for when you talk about the West Side Sound, Road Jesters goes in that category, and then you got Dimas Garza, you got Sunny Ace and the Twisters, you got Charlie and the Jives and bands such as that, and everything all together. But one of the key groups in my preference is Road Jesters, and their music is just capturing, man.
Okay, so let's say we got Royal Jesters right up there. Name some other ones. What some others?
Charlie and the Jives. You got Sunny Ace and the Twisters. You obviously got Sunny Ozuna, and then you got Dimas Garza. You got different bands. Rudy T and the Reno Pops.
Yeah. So you did that documentary on Dimas. Talk to us a little bit about that. What that process was like. How long it took. Why you chose Dimas.
Yeah, so Dimas was a unique individual coming out of the West Side, graduated from Lanier. So his music, I knew about the Royal Jesters. It wasn't until later I started getting more into who the artists are, who wrote the songs, who did the different voice levels and stuff like that. But Dimas stood out to me because he wrote a lot of his own music. A lot of the bands they were redoing music and just doing songs from other artists. But Dimas did a lot of his own music, wrote his own music, arranged it and stuff like that. So, the process was so So cool, man. I got to meet their family. I got to meet Gloria Garza, which is his wife. Met some of the daughters and stuff like that. So my friend Juan Mendoza came to me with an idea, and I was, I'm a filmmaker, so I already had that in my place. So, pero yeah, we both kind of came with the idea together because he knew I was trying to capture the Westside music, and he knows I DJ that music. So, and he knew as me as being a filmmaker, I'm trying to capture the stories. I'm trying to capture these artists. And he said, well, my good friend Dimas Garza, he was one of the good musicians, artists at that time. And he said, I know his wife, I know some of the family, I know some people, his friends that would tell some stories about him and stuff like that. So that process was cool, man. I mean, we ended up interviewing his wife. We ended up interviewing Jesse Garcia, which is a San Antonio musician. San Antonio historian on the music here in San Antonio. We interviewed Güero Cortinas, Alfredo, just passed away recently. And we interviewed, Juan came out also because Juan had a big role in his career afterwards when he went out to LA and stuff like that, when the resurgence of the music. But the process was cool, man. I got to meet a lot of good gente, a lot of good people. I mean, got to learn a lot of stories that I didn't know about this individual. And now we got film festivals picking it up and stuff like that. So his music, his story is getting out there. Just with the little work that we did on trying to capture his life story.
And y'all had screenings in different places?
Right. We had a screening. One of the first screenings I had was I had two of them at City Based Cinema. And that was, it was hard because it's during COVID and stuff like that. So, pero yeah, and then we had the Cine Festival at Guadalupe Theater picked it up this past year. And Houston Latino Film Festival has it in March coming up. And I already screened it in Houston before. But yeah, it's kind of hard at this moment, with this whole COVID stuff. But yeah, people are picking it up, man. The film festivals are really liking it, really digging the music, the story of Dimas, and just the whole Westside era of that music.
Yeah. Did you hear this music when you were growing up?
I heard a little bit of it, not knowing what it was at that time. I was younger. My grandma used to, hear a lot of, musicians such as Freddie Fender and different Spanish rancheras music and stuff like that, Patsy Cline type of music and stuff like that. So, but a veces, at times you would hear people, my grandpa throwing some Roy Jesters or some Agustin Ramirez or stuff like that, and I was like, wow, man, this music's pretty cool. It wasn't until later when I started collecting and kind of brings back an old feel to my life, and so it has a lot of sentimental value in my records.
So you just mentioned collecting. So you collect?
Yeah, I collect, and sometimes I'll play out here in the different places here, like Jaime's and stuff like that. But
what's your collection look like? How big is it?
I would say more than 345s.
Wow.
I don't have a lot of LPs. I only have like 5 LPs because I like to collect individual 45s. But it's all Texas stuff. I don't collect nothing else.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So what were some of your favorite songs? What are some of your favorite Westside Sound songs?
I Won't Love You Again by Dimas Garza and the Royal Jesters. Another one is Rudy T's what is it? Together Again and All I Can Do Is Cry. There's a lot of them, man. The Playboys, Sunny Ace has Terror Dreams Apart. You got Charlie and the Jives, Mercy, and For the Rest of My Life. There's a lot of cool. I collect 45, so I don't really know. I know a lot about the LPs, but I go through song lists. Like I just go through song lists and kind of get in tune with the individual song.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you think the Westside Sound represents the city and culture of San Antonio?
I think the Westside Sound does represent the culture and the city here in San Antonio. A lot of people, they like the sound, man. They, even though they don't know what it is, you can tell what category or what era of music they're trying to dig into or what they like. So it has a lot to do. I mean, Westside Sound is basically the whole Westside community of here in the barrio, and the music goes beyond, man. It's picked up in California. I mean, it's picked up out there in LA, and the music, the prices on these records are going up tremendously high on the internet and on eBay and stuff like that. So there's some sort of liking towards this music because they won't just sell it for that. Just for if it's a regular 45, you can get a 45 for $5, but then you can get a 45 for $2,000, $3,000 out there. And it's usually the ones that are going up that high are bands like Joe Jaime from the Westside. You got bands like Dimas, particularly his music's going up high too, 45s. And so there's a liking out there, and it's just Westside, bro. Like it's just Westside sound, San Antonio music.
Yeah. You mentioned records and collections and stuff. Where do you get your records from?
A lot of my records actually are from James Record Shop.
James Record Shop.
I started collecting there, picking up just 45s, a lot of Spanish music, a lot of rancheras, old school rancheras, like from the 50s and late 40s and early 50s. And I dig that music, and so I get a lot of it from JD's. I dig at a lot of the homies sometimes hook me up with we'll do a trade or something they love from California that I might have. We'll trade, and I usually I like to start out after the Texas stuff, especially San Antonio. So.
Cool. You ever like Friends of Sound? Or?
Friends of Sound, yeah. Friends of Sound. When they opened up, I started going there. They have their collection there that they let the DJs check out and stuff like that. Or if you're interested in a certain type of genre, they have a whole catalog of music, 45s, LPs. So yeah, Friends of Sound, James Record Shop. Basically, that's about it. You got other record stores here that may sell records, vinyl, but particularly when you're looking for a specific genre, Friends of Sound and James will cater to you.
Yeah. Why do you think this style of music is attributed to the West Side and to San Antonio? Even though it's kind of like grown past that, why do people attribute it to the West Side of San Antonio?
What do you mean, attribute?
Yeah, like why do they kind of, it's called West Side Sound, but not all these musicians are from the West Side of San Antonio.
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Just because of the way, I don't know, I guess the arrangements of the music, the way they start categorizing the music. You hear the horns, you hear the drums, and the way they play with their, it sounds real garagey, sounds real raw, but it's still authentic, bro. It's still recorded at some of these guys recorded at nice studios, such as Abe Epstein's studio out in General McMullen, and he had a specific gear, he had a specific sound that he was trying to capture, and same thing with Manny Guerra, he, Tejano legend, bro, producer. He recorded many of the Sunglows, Sunny and the Sunglows, Sunliners, many of those bands out there like Jimmy Edwards and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people attribute to the West Side Sound. They just categorize it as there's a lot of people even from Houston. You look at the compilation on the West Side of Oldies CD, and you got people from Houston on that CD. Like a lot of people didn't know that. You got Ricky V from Houston that's contributing to that compilation. But Doug Sam's even coined the term West Side Sound, and he has a big impact on just the music in general, West Side Sound. So it's just the music all around here in San Antonio. We like to people just like to categorize it as that, even though all the artists weren't from those locations. They're not all from West Side, but we like to just say West Side is puro barrio, bro, it's corazón. So.
Yeah. You think so you mentioned it's got like a garagey sound sometimes. Like, do you think that where people recorded it made a difference in the music and stuff?
I could have. I mean, you got
I mean, kind of. I'm sorry. I guess I'll say like kind of the inspiration or the drive. Like we hear about a lot of these artists that didn't have money or didn't have you know, they did what they could with what they had. You think that made a difference in how the music was made?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's what they were hearing at that time. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
hear the soul music, they hear the brothers playing their music here on the radio, and so that's basically what they were doing. They were trying to capture that sound, but little did they know they were capturing a certain specific sound that would end up being called the West Side Sound. But you know, you got Danny and the Dreamers that recorded. I just got to forget you, and then I just forget you, and that song is done by a black artist. You know what I mean? And his music, you know, sounds real. When you come to Danny the Dreamer, it's real Chicano style. Like you got the horns. Like, a lot of people, soul brothers didn't put the horns in there too much. And but yeah, I mean, the music is very innovating, and they captured their own sound without them knowing.
How does the West Side sound like? How does that music like make you feel? Like do you have like an emotion or something that you tie to West Side sound?
Yeah, I mean, even like when I go play out in Houston, I just came back from Houston, and they love it. Like, and I'm proud to play this music. Like, if it's a Sunny record or if it's a Divas record, Road Justice record, whatever it is, I feel happy and proud to say, hey, they're from where I'm from. Like, they're from San Antonio, they're from the West Side. Like, I'm not from West Side, but you know, they're still considered San Antonio music, Chicano soul. So. I feel proud to say, hey, this is music coming out from my town, from my area, and to know that that music is being sought out after, it makes you feel even more like, man, like, you're that close to these people. You're that, you know, maybe your uncle, your tío, your grandpa now knew some of these guys, or even just heard their music. So it all ties into being proud of where you're from. The music has a lot to do with where you're from, and you know, not a lot of cities and people can say, hey, you know, they're that connected to the music.
Yeah. So you're talking about where we're from. You know, we're talking about West Side Sound. What is, you know, to you, what's unique about the West Side? What's unique about the West Side of San Antonio?
It's unique, bro, because like it's just that a lot of people, you know, we live here. Whether you live in the courts, you live in the, you know, the courts, you live in a regular house here in the shotgun homes, whatever it is. It's unique to us, and it's what we have. It's all we have, bro. Like, even just growing up here, it's all you have. You don't try to look for. You do try to better your life, but if that's all you have, you make the best of it. So it's unique because we stay humble, we stay, you know, grinding, we stay working to better our life for our family, the kids, and stuff like that. So it molds you into a certain person. It molds you into what you soon to become when you're an adult, and you're working, you're struggling, you're you know, you're just a hard worker. You have positive values, stuff like that. And it just molds you into growing up in the West Side, bro. It's like it molds you into a better person. And any town, but here in San Antonio, but specifically the West Side, it's just a unique upbringing.
Yeah.
So.
Does it feel different to you, like when you get to play this music here on the West Side compared to somewhere else?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, especially, when I play, I love playing, you know, wherever I do choose to play. But when I'm playing, I've told Jaime before, when I play here at Jaime's place, it's like, man, it's right next door to the Patio de Luz, and it's like, wow, like, you got Royal Gestures playing on the speakers, and it's like the essence, bro. It's like, you hear their voices coming out from the speakers, and it's like, wow, you know, you get a different vibe. The vibe here in the West Side, when you're playing in the West Side, it's like, and you're playing this music, and you see people dancing, you see people communicating and getting along to the music and knowing what you're playing. It's just, it means all that much more when you're a DJ or you know, a vinyl collector and stuff like that. It means more to you. You're like, you know, I got a good collection here. I got a good music taste.
Yeah, no, definitely. Is there anything you want to add? Anything specific that you're like, hey, make sure you know, just something that for you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, on the topic of West Side Sounds, like the San Antonio music in general that came out from that time era, and even being a vinyl collector, it's like, man, it's so unique. I mean, I can't say much more. It's just like when you see go on eBay, you go on the internet, like I'm going back to that, it's crazy how this music prices, the prices on this 45, just like a 45, bro, it's like, they're going, like I seen a Joe Jama record go for $2,000, $3,000, and it's crazy, bro. It's like, there's something unique about this music that people are trying to capture, or they're just buying, and they know it, and so it's just to show that these artists did something unique and something different.
Yeah.
And not a lot of records can go up that price, and not a lot of records are being sought out after. Just like I always say, and for not a lot of the artists can play rancheras, play conjunto, or like Flaco is conjunto, pero you got Sonny that play a lot of rancheras. You got Dimas that did boleros. You got the ranchera music, but then they can flip it and do an English song and do a soul music, a soul sound and stuff like that. So it just shows to you that how wide of a genre the genre is, how broad it is, and
Yeah.
you can do anything. The artists from here at that time could do anything and make it their own.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for agreeing to do this interview with us. This is part of a oral history interviews project with UTSA called the Westside Sounds Oral History Project. I probably should have started with that in the beginning. So we're here at Jaime's place. It's roughly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and this was our recording with Chuco Garcia.
Right, sir.
Chuco Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you, man.